How's it going, everyone? Today we're going to be checking out the 2022 Hyundai Ioniq 5, and today we're going to be going over the SE model and the features that come with it. We're going to be going over all of the different things that the car has so that you can make an informative decision on which model and which trim is good for you. We also have the video chunked up into different segments for you to skip around and to see what you would like if you don't want to sit through the entire hour-long video. Please let us know if there's any questions that you have in the comments and like the video. For the 2022 Ioniq 5, the SE trim, it has the standard LED daytime running lights and LED low beams and high beams. But as for the SEL, you're going to get LED accent lighting in the front, as opposed to on this model, the SE, it just has the black plastic, along with the blinkers being incandescent bulbs on the bottom right and left corners of the front bumper. The SEL has their LED turn signals integrated into the headlight housing. On all of the 2022 Ioniq 5 models, there is the little vent up at the front, and whenever you turn the air conditioning on, the flapper will open up, allowing fresh air to enter the vehicle through the various filters. When the air conditioner is turned off, the flap then closes. On all the 2022 Ioniq 5 models, in the front underneath of the hood, you are greeted with a little bit of storage right on top of the motor. It has an LED light on the inside as well, so you can see if you've left any of your belongings behind. Moving on to the side of the Ioniq 5, you have the retractable door handles that are activated when unlocked or locked either by the key or whenever you are walking up to the side of the door and you push the little square to lock the vehicle. In addition to the retractable door handles on the side of the vehicle, you'll also notice the size of the wheels. The tire profile is larger than most EV vehicles in order to give you a more comfortable ride while you're driving the Ioniq 5 day in and day out. To open up the charging door on the Ioniq 5, simply push the button on the key, which will then open up the door for you to plug it in. Same thing with closing it, you'll just push and hold this button on the key to close it up. When opening the charger door on the Ioniq 5 without the key, simply just push this little button on the side of the charging door. It will then open. When all of the 4 pixels are lit up on the top, you know that you have a full battery. When you'd like to close the door, go ahead and press the close button on the inside, which will simply close it shut for you. Moving on to the rear of the Ioniq 5, you'll notice that the car has a roof spoiler at the top, which has 2 cutouts, which enables air to pass through over the car and down underneath the spoiler. This model in particular, being the Ioniq 5 SE, it also has H-Track, which is Hyundai's name for the all-wheel drive system in the vehicle. On the topic of lighting in the rear of the Ioniq 5, you have LED squared pixel lights, which are your brake lights, along with your turn signals as well. On the SE model, you have a rear view camera, which is located right down here to the left of the trunk release button, and you also get the rear parking sensors. In the SEL trim and the limited trims, however, you do get the front sensors as well. Moving into the trunk of the Ioniq 5, you're going to have a couple features that are standard in all of the trim levels. One of them is going to be the trunk light on the left-hand side, which helps you view inside whenever there's not very much external light. In addition, you're going to have this trunk floor, which is removable and foldable in order for you to fit larger items on the bottom or even smaller items on the bottom, larger items on the top. All of the Ioniq 5s do not come with a spare tire due to the location and battery size of the EV vehicle, but you do have the tire mobility kit, which is located in the trunk of the vehicle. In order to remove the trunk floor, all you have to do is pull on this pull tab here in the front and then pull towards you. This will then enable you to pull it completely out in order to fit more stuff in the back. If you'd like to configure the trunk space of the Ioniq 5, go ahead and take the trunk mat out, and then you'll straighten it out, and it will then slide into the back space of the trunk. Having the trunk configured like this enables you to have good access to the smaller items that you have on the bottom of the trunk. In the trunk, in addition to the trunk light, you have the 12 volt on the left-hand side, the service fuses on the right-hand side, and the little cutout for the trunk cover. Another amazing feature of the Ioniq 5 is going to be the fully foldable bench seat in the rear. In order to do so, go ahead and open the rear passenger door, and they're going to be pulling on the lever on the left-hand side to fold it flat. Just ensure that the driver's seat is fully forward and the passenger seat is fully forward in order to fold the seat completely flat. Now we'll do the same on the right hand side. Go ahead and pull that lever. It will automatically release. You just push it down and lock it into place. Now you have a completely flat space to place all of your items that you need in the back of the Ioniq 5. Seated here in the back of the Ioniq 5, you'll notice you have a couple different things in the SE trim level. So you're going to have the storage compartments on the back of each seat in the front, along with the 2 quick charging USB cables for your rear passengers. You'll also notice it has an armrest and 2 cup holders, which separates the bench seat. In the SEL trim, you're going to have a leatherette trimmed seat instead of a full cloth, and then in the limited seat, you're going to have a full leather seat as well. On the SEL trim, you'll notice that you have the ambient lights on each of the doors, along with the specially designed graphic for the trim. You're also going to have the secondary air vents in the back located on the B-pillars for more airflow to your rear occupants. Seated in the front of the Ioniq 5, you're going to notice that there are a ton of different features, regardless of if it is the SE model all the way up to the SEL and the limited models. For starters, as a passenger, you're going to notice you have an excellent amount of leg room along with storage space on the left-hand side. You have a USB and 12-volt chargers up at the front, along with a storage cubby. Moving on to the center here, you have 2 cup holders, and then right behind it, you have your 2 quick charging USBs as well. Underneath, in this little pass-through storage compartment on the SEL and the limited models, you'll have wireless charging, but on the SE, it is just storage. Right here underneath of the armrest, you can open this up for more storage or completely fold it back if you'd like a completely open pass-through. On the SEL and the limited trims, however, you are going to have power seats on the left and the right side, in addition to leatherette trimmed or full leather seats. Moving on to the roof of the Ioniq 5, you're going to have sun visors for the driver and the passenger side, both with adequate amount of sun blocking capabilities. If you'd like, you can swing it to the left-hand side and then pull it towards the rear of the vehicle in order to block that extra bit of sun. Also, whenever you bring it back front, you have your traditional vanity mirrors with the on and off switch light, which keeps it from running the battery dead. Right here in the center, you have dome lights, which are activated when the doors are open, or if you just need to see with a push of a button. They are LED. You also have your Blue Link activation button and an SOS button in case of emergencies. On the right-hand side of the Ioniq 5, you're going to have a very large glove box, and let me show you what I mean by that. When you open it, you have this small little cubby right here, which could be used for registration, insurance, or anything like that. It also goes back about 4 to 5 inches all the way if you need to put anything else in there that you would like. It's quite large. Moving to the left of the glove box in the center, you're going to have your air conditioning controls and your quick buttons, which will get you in and out of infotainment screens. You have climate on the left and the right hand side, along with your directional buttons here, and front defroster and rear defroster as well. Moving right above the air conditioning unit, you're going to go ahead and find that there are traditional hard buttons. Hyundai did this on purpose because not everybody likes the digital haptic buttons that are sometimes hard to use, push while you're driving down the road. This way you know where everything is going to be and it's not going to change, and it's traditional. Starting with on the left, you have the actual volume knob, which will always be in the same place, and it's not difficult to navigate at all. You also have your map, navigation, media, star favorites button, along with your tune little knob switch, along with your camera button and parking sensors button. These are all very easy to use, and it is going to be what you use the most inside of the vehicle. Right above the 2 central air conditioning units, you're going to find the 8-inch touchscreen display inside of the Ioniq 5. You're going to be greeted with a home screen, which shows you your range inside of the vehicle, whether you have the air conditioning on or off, along with charging stations that are nearby. Whenever you go ahead and swipe the screen to the left, you'll find that you have all of your apps that are programmed into the car coming from Hyundai. If you scroll one more time, you'll have another set of apps and then any additional apps that they come out with, the software updates, or that you download. Moving to the left of your 8-inch fully touchscreen and digital infotainment screen, you're going to have a fully digital instrument cluster, which is fully customizable to your liking. On the steering wheel here, you have a various amount of buttons, ranging from your adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist on the right-hand side, all the way to your favorites button and your speak to command button. Right above, you'll see your heavy drive mode select, which you can then select between eco mode, normal mode, and sport mode in the Ioniq SE trim. This one being all-wheel drive. You also have the snow mode, which is optional as long as you have the all-wheel drive model. Starting off on the interior of the 2022 Ioniq 5, we're going to start with the EV app icon. Whenever you press this, it will then give you your battery percentage of the car, your estimated range with the air conditioning off, and the nearest charging station. For example, if you turn the air on, it will then recalculate with this much air. Now you drop from 229 to 226 miles worth of range with it off. Once you turn it off, it goes back to the standard estimation. Along with noticing how far you can go with the air conditioning off or on, and your current battery percentage along with the nearest charging station, if you click the settings icon here on the right hand side, you can then tell the maximum percentage charge you can get on the DC charger and the AC charger, the charging current, winter mode, and utility mode. Moving on to the air conditioning controls of the Ioniq 5, you've got a couple buttons here. If you click the fan speed, this is how you then turn up the fan speed for the entire car, noticing the icon right here. Then you have your temperature on the left and the right side that are controlled by the blue arrows or the red arrows. Also have your directional button, whether it be at your feet, the front windshield, or coming right at your face. You have your front defroster, rear defroster, and air circulation button as well. When you press the warmer button here, it takes you to a menu on the dash, which then is your heated seats for the driver and the passenger. By clicking on the orange arrows, you're then able to go to level 3 on each. If you'd like to come down, you can either press off or tap the bottom arrow as you go. On the right hand side, you have your climate settings, which has to do with air recirculation, whether it be automatic or manual, and your automatic dehumidifier for the air. As you scroll down, you have your defrosting buttons and your defogging buttons. You can have it auto or automatic drying for the air conditioner as well. When you click on the front climate button, this gives you a visual display of the air coming out. You can see the blue outline of the air that's pointed at the driver and the passenger's feet. Press on the fan speed. You can then control the fan speed of the air up here through the touchscreen instead of the normal air conditioning controls down here. Moving on to the sync button for the air conditioner. When you press this, it then syncs the left hand side and the right hand side to have the exact same temperature. As you raise this, 68 and 68. If you click off the sync button, you can drop the temperature on the driver's side without affecting the passenger. Right here, you have your 3 levels of auto to cool the car down, whether you want it to be low, medium, or high. And then you have driver only, which then stops the air from going on the passenger side and only on the driver's side, as you can see on this blue outline of the air pointed at my feet. Moving on to the quiet mode app in the Ioniq 5, go ahead and press the icon, which then it limits the radio and media that is being played only to be heard by the front seats only, just in case you have sleeping children or even pets in the back. And it also, all of the regular notifications or even map directions to be lower than a level 25 on the volume. Moving on to the map and navigation features of the Ioniq 5. You can either access it by the quick hard buttons right down here, whether pushing the map or the nav button, or press on the map or navigation menu icons in the center display. When you click on the map icon, it gives you a nice aerial view of the map with various different street signs and locations that are nearby. On the left hand side, you can then use the plus or minus icons to zoom in or out of your location. You can also click on the navigation volume. This way you can have the directions come through at a volume to your preference and your liking. Got your compass right here on the left hand side and a search icon here, which then you are able to type in the address of your destination, or you can simply click on the voice command button and then speak your address into the system. If you would like to go into the specifics of the navigation menu, go ahead and press the navigation hard button. Here you can now search for places just like we did on the map icon, or we can search for specific points of interest, saved places, or Hyundai dealerships for service. In addition, you can also add specific addresses to your favorites' home and work buttons as well. For example, we can go ahead and click the home, go to places, and then we'll go to our nearest Starbucks. Brings it to our nearest one here. Calculates the route, and then we go ahead and hit done. Now the Starbucks has been added to our home icon, so if we ever want to go, we just click the home button and it gives us the directions to our destination. Once you've selected your destination and you have seen your route preview, If you'd like to change anything, you can just go right here to Route Avoid Options, and then select whether you want to avoid freeways, toll roads, ferries, or carpool lanes. Just hit the Recalculate button. And here we can now add a waypoint if we'd like to stop somewhere else on the way to Starbucks, or if we're ready to go, press the Start Guidance button and we will be on our way. If you'd like to delete a favorite, go ahead and press the Nav button again. It will take you to the navigation menu. Here you will hold down on the home icon, and then we will delete the address from the home icon. This way we can now save another favorite underneath of the home name. So if you would like to, once you've selected a route and a destination, you can then go ahead and press the edit button. This will then take you to either you can add waypoints, or you can recalculate if you want to dodge some freeway accidents or traffic. Go ahead and press the back button. This way you can have a route overview, shows you your turn-by-turn directions, what you're going to do, when you're going to do it, and how long it's going to take you. Also, you have your route options. Once we click on this guy, it brings us right back to that menu to where you can then change what you would like to avoid, add waypoints, with just a general overview of your route. Moving on to Bluetooth connectivity in the Ioniq 5, go ahead and open up your cell phone to the Bluetooth settings. Make sure the Bluetooth is on. Now press the Setup button. Here we will go to Device Connections. Device Connections once more, and then we'll press the Add New button. Ioniq 5 is now discoverable on my iPhone. Go ahead and press that. Make sure the passkey is the same on both devices. As it loads, it will ask you a series of questions. We're now going to allow the contacts to sync. Or if you don't want to, that is okay as well. Now that we're here in the Device Connections menu, you'll see Matt's iPhone is the first one, and then you can obviously add more as you go by pressing the Add New button. If you'd like to delete, go ahead and press the Delete Devices button, which will then let you select which ones you'd like to get rid of. On the same line as the device name, you'll notice there's a headset and a music note. The headset meaning you can make hands-free calls through your phone's Bluetooth. The music note meaning that you can now play Bluetooth audio through your phone, and it will then play through the car's speakers. If you'd like to change the configuration of each device, go ahead and press the icon to turn off each function. If you'd like to turn the function back on, just press the icon once more, and it will connect the hands-free calling again. In order to configure the settings for the audio, whether it be your radio or Bluetooth audio, go ahead and swipe the screen, click on the media icon. Here you will then be able to select which type of audio you would like. If Android Auto, Apple CarPlay is connected, same thing with Bluetooth and USB music. If you'd like to listen to Sirius XM, go ahead and press the Sirius XM icon. This will then take you to the Sirius XM layout for the radio. In order to adjust the settings, press the three lines at the top, then scroll down. You will then see Sound Settings. This will then let you select your premium sound, which you can set whether it be off or on. For the speed-dependent volume controls, your start-up volume limit, just in case you were jamming out before you got out of the car, turn off the car, and before you get back in, it won't blow your eardrums out. Go ahead and go to Position. Right now it's centered in the car, but if you wanted to adjust it, you can using these arrows. Tone, you can then adjust the treble, mid-range, and bass by clicking on the plus signs and the minuses on the left-hand side. Through guidance, this is how you can control the navigation volume and radio noise. This then helps balance out all of the external noises from the radio in order to get you a better, clearer sound. Right below radio noise, go ahead and click the driver assistance icon, which then will allow you to adjust the sounds. Whether you're using your blind spot mirrors and you put your blinker on, the car will then beep at you. If you want to have that sound or volume changed, go ahead and configure it through this check mark. Also here with parking safety, it's for your parking sensors. It will then alert you how close you are to another object, vehicle, or person. Right below, you can select your connected devices. This here, you can adjust the sound settings for either Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. Last but not least, you can click the beep button. You've probably noticed as I click on each one of these, the car beeps. If you'd like to turn that off, simply press the beep button. The icon will not illuminate, and now it makes no more noise. Now let's explore the setup of the Ioniq 5. Go ahead and press the setup icon on the screen. This will then give you a various amount of apps that you can then configure, change, and look into in regards to vehicle information and preferences. Starting off on the left-hand side, you have your vehicle icon. Here you can then change your driver assistance and how much you would like to have it interfere, whether it be your speed limit warning, warning timing, warning volume in regards to the adaptive cruise control and frontal collision, the sound that it makes whenever you get close to a car. That can all be found under forward safety. Driver attention warning is if you start to veer off in the lane, the car will notice your driving patterns. It will then tell you that you're losing attention to the road and maybe it's time to pull over and have a cup of coffee. Your blind spot safety, here you are able to then change whether you'd like the active assist of the car to steer you back into the middle of the lane, or if you just want the warning only, or if you want to completely disable this feature. Moving down below, you have parking safety, which then you have your rear cross traffic safety alert, which if something, whether it be a car, object, or pedestrian is walking behind you, it will alert you that someone is moving behind you. Pressing the back arrow here twice, you're then able to go right back to the general settings menu. Now onto the eco vehicle setting, you are then able to press on each one and change the different settings. Smart regeneration system, you are then able to change the difference of the regeneration you would like, whether it be strong, medium, or gentle. This helps recharge the batteries, but it's also helping you slow down without actually using the brakes as well. It's a personal preference. Feel free to play around with it to figure out what you like more. Moving on to charging connector looking mode. This here will then enable you to have the car be unlocked or locked while the car is charging. And then it makes sure that the charger gets locked into the car so nobody can then pull it out or put it back in without you knowing. Right below Eco Vehicle, you have Cluster. Here you can then change the illumination, select the theme, whether it be light mode or dark mode, the service interval from the last time the car was serviced. You can reset your fuel economy. You have your content selection, which this is where you can change what's in the center of the screen, whether it be your miles per gallon, trip odometer, and specific information from the car itself. You also have your welcome sound. This is whenever you turn the car on or off, it will then play a noise welcoming you into the car and saying goodbye as you leave. Moving on to the select theme more in depth here, you are then able to change whether it be theme A, B, or C, which is linked by drive mode as the default from the factory. You can then just uncheck the box and then select which theme you would like. You have theme A, which is more of a laid back, normal, clean look. Theme B, you have these red accents to enhance the sportiness of the vehicle. And theme C, we have a more clean and less aggressive looking theme for the instrument cluster. Climate, we've already gone through this through the air conditioning controls down here at the bottom. Once you click on lights, you can then change how many flashes you would like your Hyundai to blink as you are changing lanes by just the touch instead of fully engaging that blinker, whether it be 3 flashes, or you can switch it to then 5, 7, or have it be completely off. You also have your headlight delay and your high beam assist. Headlight delay meaning if you go under an overpass, the headlights will not turn on automatically. And your high beam assist, whether you are driving down a very dark road without any light in front of you, the high beams will come on by themselves. Moving on to the door category. This enables you to have auto lock and auto unlock, whether the car is off or on, and based on speed whenever your car is moving forward. This will then auto lock the doors as you go over a certain mile per hour. Moving on down below, you have the approach unlock, meaning as you start to get closer to the car, the doors will unlock. To press unlock, meaning with the key, press the unlock button twice to make sure all of the doors open, or if you just press it once, the driver door will open by itself. The remote window control, you can turn this off or on, whether you can roll down the windows with the key or not. Last but not least, we have your convenience. This here is your rear occupant alert, meaning if you have somebody in the back seat, the rear occupant alert is whenever you are turning off the car, the screen in the instrument cluster will then alert you, telling you that you have left something in the back seat, whether it be a small child, person, or a pet. For user profiles, make sure that the blue link for the car has been set up by the dealership. Once it is, go ahead and click that, and then you can now have your guest set up or change the user to the one that has been set up for you through the blue link through the dealership. Moving on to the screen theme and layout, go ahead and press that icon. Here you can then change whether you would like the white mode or dark mode, or you can schedule a time as to when it will be on. Or you can schedule a time whether you would like it to be white or black during the day or nighttime, or if you prefer one or the other, go ahead and select the one that you'd like and it will stay like that for the remainder of the drive. For a screensaver, go ahead and press this. Here right now we have nothing selected, or you can have a digital clock or an analog clock if you are not using the system right away. Now you can press the split screen, and then here you are able to figure out which kind of widgets you would like to have on the right hand side, and these can then go away or come back with the arrow on the right hand side. For example, using the home screen, say I want to go back to our maps, you'll notice a little arrow here on the right hand side. Press that and it will then bring out the widget. Here I can then cycle through what I would like to have, whether it be my radio stations or more maps, or even my battery percentage and range. If I want to go away, go ahead and just press the right arrow and now you have a full screen of your map. The custom button near the navigation center, you're able to then set this button to do either the EV app, the home app, radio, Bluetooth audio, phone projection, setup, BlueLink, quiet mode, display on or off, and HD radio data, or you can have it do nothing. Same thing goes for the star/favorite buttons on the steering wheel with a couple different settings. You can have it reject or end a call, hands-free call, voice memo, reroute, or even activate the quiet mode. If you press the mode button on the steering wheel, which is directly above the star button, you can then have this be a preset to one of these various functions regarding to the radio. The volume and tune knobs here, you have your volume on the left and your tune on the right hand side. If you'd like to switch those, you can, and you can also have them do various different things, whether it be volume and power, or your media and map zoom in and out. Your general settings in regards to the car, you either have your software versions and models, system info with storage and user manuals. You can set the date and time, although the Ioniq 5 will be hooked up also using your phone and the internet in order to prevent you from having to reset your time, whether you go to a different location in the country or with daylight savings times. You can then change it from a 12-hour format to a 24-hour format if you'd like. Here under language, you can then change it to these 4 different languages. Keyboard, you can then set up your keyboard layout to how you are most comfortable. Units, we can change this from miles to kilometers, Fahrenheit to Celsius, and then your tire pressure readings also from these 3 options. We go to media, you can then change your notification volumes, or if you'd like to display your notifications as well. Pressing the reset button will then reset all of your profiles and previous configurations of the car back to how it came from the factory. On the second page of apps, go ahead and swipe the screen. You then have your radio icon, media, which is in conjunction with your Bluetooth, your BlueLink, notifications, and the user's manual for when you're on the go. In order to activate Android Auto or Apple CarPlay, simply plug the USB down in the USB port by your foot, plug it into your phone. It will then start to read the USB, which is your phone. Then it will ask you a series of questions. Go ahead and press the next, press OK for enabling Siri. So now once the car has then read your USB and your phone, press on the Apple CarPlay icon, which will then allow you to see the phone's apps on the screen. On the left hand side, you have your Apple apps right here, and then if you want to see more, just simply press the apps icon on the bottom 3. Once the Apple CarPlay is then hooked up, you have access to all of the apps on your phone, now compatible with the car. A couple of them will not work, but some of them will work exclusively. Swiping to the right, you then have a couple other options as well. If you'd like to get back to those main layout, now you have your Apple Maps, music, and recent destinations as well listed on the right hand side. Moving on to the instrument cluster of the Ioniq 5, you've got a couple different settings. You can then scroll up and down using the knob on the right hand side of the steering wheel to see your different info, whether it be your trip odometer, and how long your trip has taken. On the info side, you can see your tire pressure as you're moving, along with your tire temperature. Moving to the left side, you then have your lane keep assist feature with the diagram of the car, and your attention level telling you if it's time to take a break. Here you have your trip information and your specific trip information, whether it be from the lifetime of the vehicle or from whenever you just recently turned it on. Starting here at the top right corner, you have your cruise control. When you turn this on, it will then select different options for you. Then you can change the speed, whether you want to speed up or slow down by using this knob here in the middle, or if you want to pause it, you just press in like a button. Once the cruise control is working, you have your adaptive cruise control, which you can change how close you want to be to the car in front of you. To the left, this is your lane keep assist with steering intervention. You can turn off the steering intervention if you'd like, or you can turn it on by just pressing this button. Right up here you have your pages button, which then as you press it, it will cycle through the different menus in the center of the instrument cluster. To navigate those pages, you can just push up or down on this dial in order to scroll through the different menus. Starting here on the bottom right, you have your star favorites button. This star button here is the same as the center of the car, where you can then set it up to do various different things. Along with the mode button up here, this is how you can cycle through the different types of audio, whether it be your Sirius XM, FM, AM, or Apple CarPlay. Down below you have the phone icon. You can use this to answer a call. And then right up here you have your voice command, which with Apple CarPlay working, you can then have Siri, or you can also use just the standard voice command system in order to navigate through the car. With these dials here, you can then turn up the volume or turn down the volume, or push in to then mute the volume. And then also you can use this guy here, push up and down to cycle through your radio stations. The drive mode button on the left side of the steering wheel is used to then change the drive modes of the vehicle. You can then click it each time, changing it from eco mode to normal and to sport. On the all-wheel drive models, if you push and hold, the snow mode will show up in the center of the display. Eco mode is best in order to get the most range possible out of your battery. Normal mode is going to be just for normal everyday driving as far as your acceleration sensitivity and braking sensitivity. The sport mode is going to be the most aggressive in acceleration and deceleration and is used for sporty driving. Snow mode enables the car to then send power directly to each wheel evenly in order to prevent you losing traction, so that way then you can get out of a sticky situation driving in snow. In the Ioniq 5 there are 3 levels of regenerative braking, level 1, 2, and 3. Now, there is no level 4, but there is the iPedal, which is activated on the left paddle. By using the iPedal, all you have to do is then push and hold the left paddle on the steering wheel. This will then enable the car to use the regenerative braking system to bring the car to a full stop.